Welcome to everyone tuning in. This is Titan Radio, the
The
space where
space
you'll
where
never
you'll never
feel
feel
out
out
of
of place.
place. I'm your host, Kiara Garcia, the lead speaker, and here with me today is a new face, or new voice, rather. But anyway,
Uh,
please introduce
hi,
yourself, my co host.
hi everyone. My name is Sebastian Miguel Heredero. But you can just call me Basti for my nickname.
Welcome, Basti, to Titan Radio.
Yes, thank you.
This is your first time hosting, right?
Yes, yeah. This is a
Yeah.
very new experience for me.
Mm-mm. Speaking of new experiences, Basti, that's something that comes with the new year, diba? The new
Yes,
year has always has space for new experiences.
that's like the follow-up conversation when you talk about New Year, and also resolutions. What is our New
Right.
Year resolutions?
For me, yung resolution ko today or this year is be more kind to myself. Because last year my resolution was like be kinder to others. Pero I realized that as I was being kinder to others, nakalimutan ko na how to save kindness for myself, you know. So
Yeah.
ayun.
My resolution for this year is would probably be I need to improve myself more. One thing I want to get rid of, like one weakness that I have, is like I'm too perfectionistic, I would say. Like my standards for myself is just so high. So I really want to just like give myself like normal standards and also be kind to myself as well, like what you said.
Right. I heard you said improvement. And now I said realizations. And that's really interesting because that has something to do with our topic today. Right, Basti?
That is true.
Right. Our topic today kasi is actually growth and healing. And I think this is like a very interesting topic that we have today in light of the new year. And I think our guest today, Basti, you know, is the perfect person to talk about this topic with. So who's our guest, Basti?
So today we have a beautiful and well-known guest in this episode, and we are honored to once again introduce her into the LSQC community. So everyone, please welcome Miss Jelly Matchubar. Some of you Titan Radio listeners would probably already know her as their approachable, insightful, and lovable junior high school English teacher. But Miss Jelly is much more than a school teacher. She is also known online as Miss Jelly of the Teacherella Diaries from her YouTube channel with 62.6 thousand subscribers as of the moment. That's quite a lot, not gonna lie.
Hello, guys. Good evening, everyone. Hello to all of the listeners of Titan Radio. Thank you so much for having me tonight. First of all, I would like to congratulate the lead team, the Toastmasters Club, for putting together excellent students and for coming up with this great show, very timely and relevant, I believe, to all of the students who are going through a lot of things because of the pandemic. So thank you so much, guys. I'm so excited for the conversation that we're gonna have tonight.
Hi, Miss. We're so glad to have you here with us today. Grabe,
Yes, you're so honored.
nakakakilig po yung introduction niyo.
Well, but really, I mentioned to you diba, earlier before we started the recording, I was stalking the lead page, and I'm really proud to see a lot of familiar names, the former students I had, to really grow into someone that you know that their previous self would be proud of. So, hats off to all of you
Oh.
guys.
I'm blushing right now po.
Thank you po so
I
much.
wish I can see you. I wish I can see that blushing.
Ayun, so welcome again, Miss Jelly. How does it feel po to be here?
To be honest with you, it's the very first time that I guest in a podcast. more exciting because it's hosted by my former students, junior high school students. I feel so overwhelmed when I saw your invite on my email. Um, Not really nervous. It's more of excited to share, and excited to learn about growth and healing as well from you guys. So let's go.
Right, we're so glad to hear that, bro, Miss, because what we really want with this podcast, right, is for it to just feel like a conversation, I know,
Mm-hmm.
especially like that students can really relate to them. That our listeners can feel like they're with us here while we're talking.
Right,
So,
right. So maybe I can ask you one question before we proceed. Um, what's one thing that you wanted to change about yourself in the past, and you believe you have improved on this year?
I'll go first.
Go.
I think, mm, looking back, because especially during the pandemic, I had so much time with myself, diba po?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was really able to use that time to reflect because it was literally the only thing I could do was just to like sit with myself. And I had so many realizations. As the realizations came, the need for improvement came then. It was like an urge,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm so glad it was an urge more than it was like a want, you know.
So, how did you start working on the things that you would like to improve? Maybe you can give us one example, something that's not very sensitive to share. If it's okay with you.
Mm, as I'm thinking, I'm realizing that there's not really anything I can really share without crying.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Oh, I
I think actually the first thing that I did when those realizations came to me was to cry. Mm-mm. So
It's like
I think
purging your emotions.
yeah, I just felt it all. I think
Mm-hmm.
actually I read somewhere that like the sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is to just feel your feelings, and
Mm-hmm.
if that makes you
I
cry,
agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
you have to vent it.
uh, so I don't know. I just started feeling my feelings, tuning into
Mm-hmm.
myself, and then ayun, all of it. The next steps just came automatically, I guess.
That's nice to know. You know what? Even with adults like us, like I'm turning 26 this year. I still do the things that you did before, like crying when you feel like crying. And I think it's very important, as part of your growth and healing process, to really let out the emotion. We always say, I want to vent, I want to rant. I think
Mm,
it's, although ranting has, a negative notion, or
mm,
it's always linked with negative emotions, but ranting could also be a way of venting out. Well, that's for me. I vent out my emotions to the people that I trust the most, and I
mm.
cry when I really can't handle the emotion. So I can really resonate with what you said. So yeah, how about Basti? Like, what's one thing you wanted to improve in the past, and you think the growth is happening already right now?
So, like I said earlier, since I can't really think about much yet, yeah, my perfectionism. And I do feel like I have the growth is happening, or I'm improving on that regard, because uh, back when I was like at the peak of being perfectionistic, like everything I did, I was such a critic. I criticized myself so much, and I
Mm.
gave myself really high standards, and parang it just it just even though it already felt bad for me, I don't know why. Parang I just kept doing it to myself. So when the pandemic
I
happened,
see.
yeah, and I got to have lots of self-realization, like what happened to also Kiara. I got to like finally decide that I want to improve on this. I wanna get rid of this perfectionism, and give myself
Mm.
or be kinder to myself.
Yeah,
And
I like what Kara said earlier. Be kind to yourself. I wanna do that too. Sometimes if you're setting too high expectations to ourselves, to the point that we're hurting ourselves already, because we cannot fulfill, or we cannot reach the high standards that we set upon ourselves. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I want to be kinder to myself. I want to have realistic expectations to myself. So thank you so much for answering the question. I think it's my turn to share some of the things that I know, my insights and my experiences. So what do you got for me, Kara and Basti?
So I really like how when you asked Basti and I, our experiences kind of almost lined up with each other. So I think that's, I don't know, really interesting, diba? Like how, mm, not common, but how you
Like
can
it's like
see
sharing.
similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you share the same experience.
Uh-huh. So ano, I'm wondering lang po if you have a similar experience with us din po.
Like
Like what was it like po with you in the pandemic? Did you have self-realizations then po ba?
yes, a lot. One of the biggest realizations that I had was I have to do better in loving myself, specifically my body. Because for the past years, I've been gaining a lot of weight and I'm not very happy about how I see myself. I think it's called self image. Self image is how you see yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. And my self image for the past years has been very negative. You know what I mean? When people invite me
Mm.
for dinner or coffee dates, I immediately decline because I don't want them to see me in this body. I'm not very happy with my belly fat, with my arms, because I see how the society has this standard of beauty that you should be skinny, you should
Mhm.
be tall, you should have this gap between your thighs, and
Mhm.
it's kind of influencing how I see myself. And as a result, it lowered my self esteem. So that's
Mhm.
what I realized during the peak of the pandemic. And what I would like to improve on is how I see myself and how I should take care of my own body. Because to be honest with you, it's also my fault. It's your fault as well because you guys kept on giving me gifts and food and chocolates when I was still in Lourdes school. It started in Lourdes school. To be honest with you, when I was in Lourdes school, I entered with 45 kilograms, but I left Lourdes with as a 50 with 51 kilograms weight. So not trying to put the blame on you, but it's kind of is.
It's
But really,
understandable.
It's
it's
We're
also
sorry, ma'am. We just love you so much.
no, it really it's also because I did not discipline myself to have control when eating and to really choose healthy food. So that's what I would like to work on this 2022.
I really like how we're starting off. We're
That's true.
laying down what we want to improve with ourselves, we're sharing our realizations. I think this is good. This is really good kasi 'di ba sabi ko nga kanina, self-improvement, hindi mawawala sa self-improvement yung self-realization. And what comes with
Mhm.
self-realization, or rather what comes after self-realization, is that urge to improve and change, diba? Which is actually the very root of growth, diba, Basti?
Mhm. And I also really found myself relating a lot to what Miss Jelly said, especially on self-image, because uh, self-image is also a big thing nowadays that we also start to realize on. And in the end, it really just goes to show you that we can really be the worst critics of ourselves. Like sometimes we just critique
Yes.
everything we are, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
I
horrible.
agree. Yes. I feel bad for myself for criticizing myself. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
meta criticizing. I don't know what's the right term, but I know you get my point.
So, uh, if we relate everything that we've said so far, it's more on growth that we're talking about. So,
Yeah.
let's try and define what growth really is.
Ano nga ba ang growth? I don't think there's one definition though for growth. Like I think if you were to ask different people what growth is to them, it would their answer would be really what growth is to them. You know, it's like different definitions for each person you ask. Diba?
Yes, it's unique for every person,
Right.
and that can be also said because growth is also different for every person
Right.
because everyone has different personal growth. Like the way that they change themselves is different. It's suited to what you are.
Right. It's like it's associated with their experiences and their like knowledge, you know, and how they see themselves. So you can't fit a standard of growth to like one person's standard of growth is different to another person's. So as one person who understands growth differently from another, that person cannot force this definition of growth to himself if like hindi nagma-match up yung experiences niya with this other person. Did you
Yes,
Yeah,
I
right. I
we
agree. Like we grow differently in different ways, different forms, and as you would always learn or listen from other hear from other people that we do have different timelines. So we grow at different seasons and different parts of our lives. So
right,
I like
right.
what you said that we cannot really have the same standard definition of growth. When I was looking at our outline of the discussion, I was
Mhm.
thinking this is a very simple question, but it's very hard to answer. I don't have a
Right.
specific answer about how
that is
can
true.
I really define growth. But you know,
But could you try for us, ma'am? We're
yes,
just
Yeah,
curious.
could you try
What's your
defining what growth is?
definition of growth po?
yes, I would say that growth is hard to quantify. It's not quantifiable unless
Mhm.
we are talking about height, weight, or length of
True.
your hair, because you can just measure it up. But when
Uh-huh.
we're talking about growth in terms of your personality, your mindset, your emotional well-being, it's hard to define. But I would say that growth is about leaving the things that don't make you succeed, abandoning the things that don't make you happy, grabbing new opportunities, and I'm borrowing the words from one of the bosses that I have right now, making new mistakes. It's not repeating
Oh,
the same mistakes that you did before, but grabbing new opportunities, making decisions, and letting yourself make new mistakes. So,
That's
yeah.
really beautiful po. I think that's gonna stay with me for the long run.
Yeah,
That's
when
really
I
nice.
it was actually sent to us by our one of the bosses, which is actually not with us anymore. But he sent that email, and in that email there were quotes that he lives by, and this is the very simple quote that really struck me and that really stayed in my mind. That yes, I don't have to be afraid about stepping outside, going out of my comfort zone, trying new things, grabbing opportunities, because I can always make new mistakes where new learning happens.
Right. That's
that
so
is a very
pretty.
powerful message. It's
Yes.
really one that it can also be said as relatable to a lot of people.
Mm-mm. I think that's something I'm gonna associate na with the new year. Instead of new year, new me, it's gonna be new year, new mistakes.
Ah, that's true.
Basta wag lang paulit-ulit yung mistakes
Yes.
natin. O
Yes,
kailangan,
kasi we need to learn, of course, learn from our
yeah,
mistakes.
Of course, it's not a mistake
yes.
if you're not gonna learn from it.
And it's also really bad as well to compare other people's growth to yours, or like comparing others,
Right.
because any way you grow or any way you change is still you. Like it, it's not gonna be any less valid at all.
And we shouldn't, I know, like Miss Jelly said, growth is not quantifiable. So we shouldn't like hold it against other people like, ay, ganito ka lang nag-grow. Like, ang konti naman ng development mo. Ganon. It's really, I guess, wrong for me to hold it against another person, diba? So ayun. I
We
think
shouldn't
that's
try to make it quantifiable. Like it's still,
yes.
since it's always so different for everybody, we should just like keep it that way and accept others for how they grow. You know?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, and speaking of that, maybe we can also talk about the things or people that we you think you or we should leave behind 2021, since we're talking about new year, our new life, the growth that we want to have. So, for you guys, what are the things or people that you think you should leave behind to really move forward towards the growth that you want to have in 2022?
Um, well, I guess I'll go first. For me, I'd say the things that we should leave behind in 2021 is all like the negative things that's happened to us. But I don't say leave behind as like forget about
Yeah.
them completely. But I mean as in we shouldn't take them with us. Because if we take them with us,
Right.
it's just gonna hinder us from growing or from changing even. And
Mm-hmm.
change is something we really
Yes.
need.
I
And
agree. It's like um just let go of the things that you can no longer control.
yes.
Right, yes. You worded that perfectly, miss.
How about you, Kara? What's that one thing that you would like to leave behind 2021?
The one thing I'd like to leave behind 2021 is the thing that Sebastian said when he was talking about his resolutions. I want to leave behind the critic inside of me, or the
Hmm.
self.
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Not, I
because
guess.
sometimes when we
Yeah.
critic ourselves too much, no, we end up hurting ourselves. So it's not hurt is part of growth, but when it's you who's just putting too much pressure on yourself, it's not really helping. It's just hurting you more.
Right,
So
and
yeah.
that's
Ah,
also
yes.
gonna hinder you from growing. Right.
Yes, right. I
Because
agree
then
with
you'll
you.
just be stuck in that criticizing phase, and you're never
Mhm.
actually gonna do anything about it. Because the whole time you're just gonna be feel bad.
Yes, I
Yeah, that's true.
agree. I can totally resonate with what you said. Well, as for me, maybe one of the things that I left, and I'm still doing my best to do it
Mhm.
in 2022, is to leave the people who hurt you intentionally. You know what I mean? If you have
Mhm.
to, I'm saying burn some bridges if you have to. Because there are people who really hate you even if you're not doing anything wrong. I'm
Right,
sure a lot
right.
of our listeners would be able to relate to this one. There are people that no matter what you do, you cannot please them because they are determined to hate you. You know, so
Oh,
Right.
the
yes. That's true.
you're being kind, you're being so thoughtful, and you want to understand where they are coming from, but they are so determined to misunderstand you.
Mhm.
You can
Leave
see that a
them.
lot in the internet.
Yes,
Yes.
burn the bridge as
Right.
early as now and move forward with your life, because when you try to leave those kinds of people or things in your life that don't make you happy, that hinder you to grow, then it's gonna be, you know um it's gonna be an obstacle for you towards
Mhm.
what you want to be or where you want to be in the future.
Right. It's just gonna be another thing that blocks you from that very
Yes,
best
it's a
version of
blocker.
yourself.
It's
Right.
just another
Yes.
hurdle.
Mm-mm.
But we shouldn't make speed bumps the mountains that they may seem. Okay, yes, I
Wow,
read that from the
Basti.
internet. Don't worry about it.
It's
What's a
really
speed?
good.
What's a speed bump? I haven't heard
The
of that
ano,
term.
you know when
The
you're
the
driving
road.
and then there's like a bump
Oh,
Yeah,
like a
that
just
you
hump.
go. Yes.
mhm.
Oh, I learned a new word from this episode. A speed
Speed
bump.
bump.
Okay, thank you so
Yeah,
much, Basti.
Mm-mm.
no problem.
Yeah, and from just to add on what Miss Jelly said, sometimes talaga it's really necessary to cut people off, no? Especially when it's not healthy or helping yourself, your improvement as a person, diba?
Yes, we shouldn't
Yes,
be afraid to like what Mr. Jelly said, burn the bridges. Uh,
Right. Mm-mm.
if you need to. Because
Yes.
when you stay with the wrong people, you will never attract the right group where you truly belong. Because
Right.
if you're just trying to
Yes.
blend in, you know the term blend in. Even
Uh-huh.
if you don't really fit in that group, you're trying to do your best to blend in, even if you're not that kind of person. But when you remove yourself from that group, from that environment, and be true to who you really are, you're going to attract the right group of people who will genuinely care about you, who will genuinely appreciate what you do. So, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That's one of the things then that I learned from my past experiences. Growing talaga is just this process no of just learning and doing new things from what you learn and from what mistakes you did in the past. What about you, Basti? What can you say about that?
I mean, yeah, I actually really love the message that Miss Jelly said that if you're with the wrong people, you won't attract or be able to uh, be
To
with the right
be.
people. Yes.
Yes.
And that's really something we need to take note of because, yeah, there can be some really bad people who can stunt your growth, like your physical, I mean not physical, mental, spiritual, emotional growth. Like there are some people who will completely roadblock that.
Right. And because of that, diba, you're trying to fit into this group, you're trying to be someone you're not. That's actually just gonna hinder you from getting to know your real self, right? And getting to know yourself is actually one of the very first steps that you need to like go through to grow as a person. Because how are you gonna grow if you don't know where you're going from or who you're growing from, diba?
Yes, we need to acknowledge the past a lot because that's how we embrace new things by acknowledging what like past experiences.
Right. Growth is about acknowledgement. And speaking of past experiences, actually, you really can't ignore them because past experiences, the past is your key to like the future. Whoa, grabe,
Yeah, it's
grabe.
like
Feel the
it's like
flow,
your
girl.
guide. Love is like your
Grabe.
guide.
The past is the key to your future. Kiara Garcia. May bago tayong
Kiara
quote.
Garcia 2022.
Ipo, ipo-post natin, ika-caption natin yan sa ating mga
Yes,
bagong
kinikilig ako.
profile picture.
What about you, Miss Jelly? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that it's necessary to acknowledge the past in order for you
Yes.
to grow?
um, yeah, because the past is a part or is the reason who you are today. Like the pain from the past that I've experienced is the reason why I am stronger today. The experiences I had teaching in Lord School in the past is the reason why I know how to run a class today. And it's inevitable to really look at some parts of your past because, as you've mentioned, we can never move forward if we're just going to really purely abandon what happened to us. But I think it's also important to have self awareness at the moment, not looking at the past, but looking at yourself at the moment. So being really mindful of who you are and what you can do so that you can move forward. What do I mean by that? So I'm gonna look at myself and see who am I, what can I do, what can I not do, and what are the things that I have not done so that I can open doors for growth to myself. For example, if you are the kind of student who is really good in reading and listening, but you lack the skills in writing or speaking, it's important that you know where you are good at, right? You're good at reading, you're good at listening, but you're not so good at writing and speaking. So there is where self awareness comes from first. And by knowing you already have some plans in your mind, what can you do to improve the things that you lack? So maybe the first step would be listening to how other people speak, looking at what other peoples have written, so that the next few steps would be doing the things that you have not done before. Maybe the reason why I'm not good in speaking is because I have not really explored impromptu speaking. Maybe the reason why I'm not really good at writing is because I haven't really written a good essay, or I haven't really tried writing an essay. So growth also comes from self awareness first, planning on how you can improve on the things that you lack, and doing the things that you have not done before, so that you will start growing. You get my point? I think I'm just running around the bush, but I hope you got the essence of what I
Yes,
was
yes, bro.
Yeah,
trying to
yeah, we got
say.
we. That was actually a really nice message again.
Get to know yourself is what I
It
got
really
from that.
resonated. And like I would like to add on with what Miss Jelly said. Like yeah, the past is really like helpful for us, and uh yeah, since we have like past experiences, we can use those past experiences to relate to the present ones, and which can serve as like a very large like comfort mechanism for a lot of people. Like we can use it again to also grow, of course.
I actually really like yung sinabi ni Miss Jelly kasi it kind of highlights like getting to know yourself. You start to identify the things that you don't need and the things that yun nga, you have to leave behind. And by doing that, you really start to make room for the new things that come with the new year, diba? So it just circles back to what we were talking about in the beginning. And it's really nice.
Speaking
Yeah,
of New
it's like
Year, maybe
cycle.
we can also talk about some of the things that we treasured, or maybe some unforgettable moments in the past year.
Well, for me, one unforgettable moment of from 2021 was um do you guys remember that one TLE event called the Entre Fair? I'm pretty sure Kiara
Yeah,
knows
like
this.
Yes,
you
yes.
you sell
Yeah,
food.
we sell
I missed
products.
that.
Merch, diba?
Merch,
I
right?
still
Yeah.
can't believe you guys did that online.
Yeah,
How did
it's
you do that online? That's the very first time, I believe.
Mm.
oh it was a very big challenge, and that's
Definitely
Oh,
it
why it's
wasn't
probably
easy.
an unforgettable moment for me because it was a really big challenge. Everyone was working at their hardest. We were all just trying to cooperate and get done with it. I'm happy it happened because it really also helped us improve on like time management, multitasking. Yeah, we got to
mm,
grow with that as well.
that's a good experience. At least you learned something.
Mm-mm.
Nice.
From a bad experience, you were able to take good things with you, right?
Hmm.
Like improvement in your time management. Sabi mo nga. That's
It
really
came
good.
with a good outcome.
Right, yes,
Maybe it
exactly.
wasn't really maybe it wasn't really a bad experience. Maybe it was just a challenging
No,
one for
yes, it was
Basti,
just
because it's
challenging.
something new, right?
Yes, we haven't ever done that before.
How about Kiara? What's the unforgettable moment that you'd like to share with the rest of the people listening to our podcast right now?
I know. Um, from last year, right? I keep
Yeah.
forgetting 2022 na. I keep thinking last year is 2020. I don't know. It's just felt like one big long year. Anyway, one unforgettable moment of 2021. A lot of my family members got sick. My brother
Mm.
got COVID, and
Oh,
then
So sorry to hear that.
a few months after that, my kuya was so unlucky talaga last year kasi like after he got COVID, he got dengue. So,
oh,
mm-mm,
oh no,
Oh, how
so
is he now?
that's actually really
he's really
dangerous.
good.
Okay, it's good. That's
Nice.
nice. That's nice.
Last year then was the year that we got really close with each other. So it was
Aw.
really hard talaga for me. Like suddenly it was like I just got my brother and then it felt like the possibility of him like being taken away from me. Yeah. So that's an unforgettable moment of 2021.
Oh wow,
It's just my
It must
brother
have
getting
been
sick.
very
that must be yeah.
must have been Very
Very
challenging and
hard.
emotional for
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Uh, I think ano, last year I cried talaga like the hardest out of my anong taon na ba ako? 16 years of existence.
Oh wow.
I can only imagine the pain. So sorry to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish you have not gone through all the pain in 2021, but
But
I
yeah.
hope you will have, better days to come this 2022.
Yes.
Yes, and I guess the one bright side is from it. There's just, like, there's not much bright sides to be honest, but one of them is just at least you got stronger from it. You were
Yeah.
able to experience such a very like really terrible experience,
Yes, you powered
Yes.
through all of
like
those things.
very
Nice.
challenging.
Mm-mm.
But at least you like
Yeah,
you guys you got out of it, and now you're stronger.
right. I did gain a lot of things from that experience. Like I right after my brother got sick, he got back from the hospital. We were like closer than ever, ganon. I know, and it was just very relieving. So, ayun.
So it
But
also made
ano
your bond stronger, no?
right. But don't get me wrong, like I guess bad experiences do make other people stronger, but sometimes bad experiences just leave you, feeling sad. So it doesn't matter if it. I guess I don't know. It doesn't make your experience any less valid if ever it didn't make you stronger. It's just that we have to live
Yeah.
realistically that
Mhm.
sometimes bad experiences are
Yeah.
just bad experiences.
We deal with pain, with experiences differently. And
Hmm.
if you just think of those past experiences in 2021 to be just, pain and a lot
Hmm.
of crying, that's okay. It's a
Yeah.
valid, it's a
Yes,
valid emotion. It's a valid
Yes.
opinion.
it's very
What
understandable.
about you, Miss Jelly? What's an unforgettable moment of 2021?
Oh, one of the most unforgettable moments of my 2021, when I got a new job. It was super unexpected. Up until now, it's still unbelievable for me. It's an amazing opportunity. But here's how it happened. So in 2020, I had an interview with this education technology company based in Beijing. So during the interview, one of the questions was, did this specific, huge, globally known tech company collaborated with you, contacted you? And I was thinking, why would they think that? Maybe they saw one of my videos that I created about one of the products of that tech company. And then I immediately said, no, because really, they did not contact me to collaborate. So, and at the back of my head, I was thinking, why would that specific huge tech company give me an ounce of their attention? I'm this small content creator. They don't need me. I'm not an asset. I wouldn't be an asset to their company in any way because they're so big. That's what was I was thinking in 2020. So 2021 came, and one day in September, I received a message on my Facebook page, and it says, "Hello, Teacher Jelly. I saw your edu contents on YouTube, and we would want to offer you this project." And you know what? That is a person from the tech company that we were talking about in 2020. This company offered me a job, which is super unreal to me. I had to check his profile just to see baka fake news ito, baka ini-scam ako nito. Because I
Oh yeah.
didn't really think that this big opportunity would really come knocking to my door. I'm so overwhelmed with gratefulness and happiness and all of the emotions coming to me because I've never dreamed that it would happen to me in my entire life, even in my next lives if reincarnation is really true. So, yeah, I guess the point of my short story is that when you do when you start doing what you want to do, what you love to do, what you're passionate about, eventually it will pay off And eventually, the opportunities will come knocking at your door without you even knowing. No single clue. Sometimes the things that we love to do will prepare us for better things in the future.
We're so
So
happy
yeah,
for you,
that's
ma'am. I want to do like
Yeah,
a
we're actually
standing
really
ovation right now.
round
Just
of applause.
that's
Actually,
overflowing
the
pride for you.
that's the most unforgettable
yeah,
moment of my
congrats.
2020. It's
Oh,
super
I'm so
unexpected.
happy.
It's out of my profession. It's out of teaching, but still related to education. That's why sobrang happy ko kasi hindi man siya teaching pero related siya sa education, which is my passion. It happened because I started creating videos on YouTube in 2019 because I did what I want to do, and somehow I don't know if what you call that destiny or whatsoever, just chances and opportunities, but I'm so grateful for the job that I have landed because I did the step into growing as a content creator. People would you would always hear from other people, chances are low but never zero. So if there are listeners out there right now who are doubting themselves, who are thinking that nothing great will happen to me ever, stop, because it might not be right now. And I'm not even sure. I'm not I'm you know I don't know what the future holds, but I'm sure great things will happen to you if you start doing the right thing, if you start doing the things that you are passionate about, that you really care about.
Yes, exactly. Sabi nga, higher your vibration and you will start to attract what belongs to you. That is on the same
Oh,
vibration
I
as you,
like
Wow,
that.
that was a good
That's
saying.
right?
so
Just it's
powerful.
all about the vibes,
This episode is
Yeah.
really all about say quotes as well.
right? Yeah.
I can tell. Parang may pattern.
Yes. Speaking of quotes, just to wrap this very wonderful podcast session with you guys, what do we want to say to our student viewers out there?
I think, Miss, that should come from you. What do you want to
Yeah.
the message you want to leave to our viewers? What do
I
you
have a
wish for our
very
viewers?
I have a very quick and simple message for all of them. So, whoever you are, if you are listening, I hope that you find yourself in a place where you truly belong and where the people around you value you the way that you should be valued. That's it.
Wow, that was so
Grabe.
amazing.
My heart is like swelling.
Heartwarming, everything
Mm-mm,
related to hearts. It's all good.
mm-mm. Love, love, love everything that's coming out of Miss Jelly's mouth.
Yeah. Thank you again, Miss Jelly, for the time that you had to spend in this episode. Thank you for all of your amazing insights. And again, this has been Sebastian Heredero.
And I have been your co-host, Kiara Garcia of 1040 Truth, the lead speaker. And of course, before we end, to our listeners, if you want more episodes like this, or if you don't want to miss episodes or future announcements, don't forget to follow our socials, our Facebook page at LSQC Lead, our Instagram also at LSQC Lead, and of course, a little something for Miss Jelly. Follow her YouTube channel, Teacherella Diaries. She has so much good content over there, so definitely check it out. And of course, don't forget to check out as well her small business, Hooked Apparel. That's hooked with a T instead of an ED, HOOKT, Hooked Apparel. So once again, this has been Titan Radio, the space where you'll never feel out of place. Yay, we're done.